On 14th October 1066, near Senlac Hill by Hastings in England, two armies met in a battle that reshaped kingship, land and language for centuries. The Battle of Hastings still matters because it helped decide who ruled England and how power could change through conquest, inheritance and force. In 1066, England faced a succession crisis after Edward the Confessor died without a clear heir. Competing claims pulled the kingdom toward war. The English crown passed to Harold Godwinson, but other claimants challenged his right. Across the Channel, William of Normandy prepared to press his own claim. Harold had to secure loyalty quickly, defend the realm, and face threats from both sea and land. Every decision carried the weight of a fragile kingdom. William, Duke of Normandy, needed ships, soldiers, and legitimacy. His campaign depended on timing, persuasion, and the promise of reward. Harold was an experienced commander, but he had marched hard and fast to meet one threat before another arrived. His army was brave, yet tired. William faced his own pressure. A cross-channel invasion could fail in an instant. He had to keep nobles loyal and troops confident before the battle began. Harold's men relied on shields, spears, axes, and close discipline. On foot and on favourable ground, they could form a strong defensive wall. William's force mixed archers, infantry, and cavalry, giving him flexibility. That combination was unusual enough to matter, but it also demanded coordination. Both armies depended on food, water, animals, and stamina. A battle was not only a clash of weapons, but a test of supply and endurance. Morale mattered as much as numbers. Each side believed it was fighting for rightful rule, and that conviction could steady men under pressure. William crossed the Channel and advanced inland after landing in southern England. His army moved carefully, knowing the campaign had reached its most dangerous stage. Harold hurried south after confronting another invasion threat in the north. The march was exhausting, but delay could have been even more costly. By the time the armies met near Senlac Hill, both had already been shaped by distance, weather, and urgency. The battlefield favoured the side holding higher ground. The day was cool and uncertain, with light and shadow shifting across the hill. Terrain, not just courage, would influence every movement that followed. Harold's men likely formed a defensive line near the crest, using the slope to blunt attack. William needed to break that position without losing momentum. William's plan combined arrows, infantry pressure, and mounted attacks. He sought to unsettle the English line, then exploit any opening that appeared. Harold's plan was simpler: hold firm and let the hill do the work. If his line stayed intact, the attackers would have to pay for every step. The opening phase likely began with archers and forward pressure. Even from a distance, the battlefield would have felt loud, crowded, and difficult to control. The English line held, and the slope made direct attacks costly. For a time, the defenders seemed to have the advantage of position and discipline. Pressure built as repeated assaults tested the same line again and again. Small shifts in formation could matter more than any single dramatic moment. At the center of the struggle, the fighting became a contest of patience. Whoever lost cohesion first would give the other side a crucial opening. A decisive movement emerged when parts of the Norman force adapted and drew defenders out of position. That kind of change could turn a stubborn defense into a vulnerable one. Once the English formation loosened, mounted and foot troops could press harder. The battle moved from a static struggle toward a breaking point. Harold's army began to lose its grip on the ridge. In battles like this, collapse often came not all at once, but in a series of failing moments. William's side pushed forward as the English position weakened. The outcome was no longer balanced, and the hill became a place of retreat rather than defense. By the end, the battlefield belonged to the Normans. The victory was hard won, and it marked the fall of the English king and his cause. The immediate aftermath brought uncertainty, grief, and the practical work of control. Winning the battle did not instantly mean winning the kingdom. William still had to secure London and be recognized as king. Conquest on the battlefield was only the beginning of political transformation. In the years that followed, Norman rule changed landholding, fortification, and elite culture. Castles and new loyalties altered how power worked across England. The English language, aristocracy, and administration gradually shifted under new rulers. The battle's consequences reached far beyond one hill in Sussex. Historians still debate details such as troop numbers, exact tactics, and the final moments of Harold's death. Some reconstructions are stronger than others. The famous story of the battle comes from sources written after the fact, so caution is essential. The broad outline is clear, but the fine details remain contested. Today, the battlefield near Hastings is a quiet place of grass, paths, and memory. Standing there, it is easier to feel the scale than the noise. The Battle of Hastings endures because it shows how one day can redirect a nation's future. Its legacy is still visible in England's landscape, institutions, and history.